Lebanon fires rockets towards Israel. At least 3 rockets have been fired from Lebanon towards Israel, the Israeli military has confirmed. The military said the rockets landed in the Mediterranean Sea, causing no damage or casualties. It said after the rocket attack, according to protocol, no sirens were sounded. The rockets were launched from the Khalil area north of Nakura, near the border with Israel. Israel's public broadcaster Kan News said residents in western Galilee report hearing explosions. Citing security sources, Lebanese media reported that Palestinian factions were likely behind the firing of several rockets from south of the coastal city of Tyre. Lebanon's Al Jadid news channel cited sources saying the rocket launched from southern Lebanon were not fired from Hezbollah platforms. Meanwhile, Lebanese media also reported Israeli warplanes were flying over southern Lebanese regions.
Time now for our international press review in the papers. Once again, Gaza dominating the headlines. Here to talk about that and other issues as well is Catherine Norris-Trent. Catherine, take it away.
Hi, Mark. Yeah, as you said, the conflict in the Middle East really dominating lots of today's papers, especially since some rockets were fired into Israel from Lebanese soil yesterday. A lot of that's featuring in the coverage. The Lebanese daily L'Orient Le Jour, they have a kind of whodunit article trying to find out who could have fired these rockets. Hezbollah say they didn't. The Lebanese government condemned the rocket fire. So L'Orient Le Jour looks at who could have done it, and there's a phantom group, an unknown group apparently, who could have fired these rockets. L'Orient Le Jour speculates, although they insist it is speculation, that it could be Al-Qaeda fighters from Palestine.
Interesting stuff there, I suppose. There was a talk of an armed Palestinian group, but I suppose there's an influence there which could be certainly on the ground as you're talking about. What's next?
Yeah, another Lebanese paper, actually, the Lebanese Daily Star. They've also got analysis and speculation, but they're looking towards the future. What's the fallout from the conflict going to be? And they say it's going to be much bigger than just the conflict on the ground. They're looking at the Arab world, Arab countries, and they say that non-state actors are playing an increasingly important role. That's things like religious groups, paramilitary groups, and they're playing an increasingly important role, and that's bad news for the Muslim world because it will undermine what they call already hapless governments. On the other side of the border in Israel, their reporters gone on the ground in northern Israel near the border with Lebanon to see what locals made of that rocket fire yesterday. They spoke to a local business and they say actually it was business as usual. They're used to violence after the 2006 conflict with Hezbollah around that border area.
What people can actually just live with and accept, isn't it? Tell us about the fate of recycling, which doesn't seem to be escaping the economic crisis.
No, yet another casualty of the economic slump. Now, I'm sure, as we all do here in France, we will try and separate out our recycling, but apparently it's got nowhere to go when you separate it out. Most of the developing world's recycling is currently sent to China. And The Guardian, the UK newspaper, they have a story that 80% of China's recycling plants have already closed and that the rest are under threat because no one is buying the recycled products that are produced, the leftover paper and cardboard that are produced, because the Western world is not buying. There's some graphs in the paper as well that show the Western world is not buying this material. People aren't buying products, so the prices have slumped, and lots of those very poor people in China who sort out the recycling rubbish are now on the scrap heap themselves.
And obviously with the stuff that we all recycle, it's just, I presume, clogging up space in ports and other storage sites all around the world.
Absolutely. Who knows where it is?
Okay, this story made me smile. The pornographic industry hit by the slump.
Yeah, the recycling industry.
Tell us more, Catherine.
It's apparently people are worried about it going bust. Ta-da. Two pornography moguls in the United States, Hustler founder Larry Flint and also the man behind Girls Gone Wild videos.
I'll take your word for that one, Catherine.
Well, I don't know him personally. They're apparently asking US Congress for a $5 billion bailout. They say that it's Congress's duty to keep people motivated during these depressing times.
Well, they should pull the other one, perhaps. And then this next story, a 2-year-old's artwork taking people by storm or fooling
apparently,
people.
Most people say abstract art could be done by 2-year-olds. The Independent's got a story that is actually the case. An Australian art gallery put some on show. They're going to go ahead with it anyway.
OK. And before we leave you, just to show you the Parisian there, France doing its bit to save energy, switching off the lights on the Eiffel Tower early every night. Kind of sad, that one, isn't it, a little bit?
But it's good. Everyone's got to do their bit for the environment.
Catherine will do our bit and we'll be quiet now. Thank you very much for that. That was our international press review. Stay with France 24.